Hey, it's Mark Imperial, author of Books Grow Business. And if you haven't met him yet, this is my pug. This is Humphrey Pugfart. Humphrey, say hello right there. There's the camera. Howdy. Well, as promised, if you missed my talk in Vegas, this is the encore presentation that we're going to do a webinar style. So enjoy it and let me know if you have any questions. Before we get started here, if you haven't grabbed a copy of my book, Books Grow Business, go ahead and use the QR code on the screen right there and download yourself a digital copy of it, and you'll be able to dig in. This is my over 30 years of experience using books to grow any business, and I show you all my tips, tricks, and secrets and best practices there in that book. So let's get started here right away. So this is titled The One Thing That You Can Do in Your Business That Makes Everything Else Easier, Better, or Unnecessary, a theme from an earlier book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And it's how a book built a multi-million dollar business and an 8-figure exit. I'm going to show you a real case study at the end of this presentation here. So who this is for? This is for business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives, those who really benefit from having ultimate authority and trust with their audience. And for those who have clients that are hungry for the information in your field, they're always looking for answers, not advertising. So why don't you be the person providing those answers so you are seen as the premier expert in your field? Here's what we're going to cover in the short presentation. Part one, I'm going to show you how your book is the one thing that you can do that makes everything else better, easier, or unnecessary. In part two, we'll talk about the 7 critical keys to your perfect book in 90 days and how AI can hurt you, how to prevent yourself from getting hurt by AI. And in part three, I'll share that case study of how a multi-million dollar business was built around a book. So really quickly, before we get started, in case we haven't met yet, why do you listen to me? Just a little context so you know where I came from. I spent over 25 years in experiential marketing and branding for some of the world's most famous brands, including Under Armour, Pokemon, and Nintendo, just to name a few. Also, I spent 17 years with Dan Kennedy as my mentor, really learning direct response marketing, which is really the polar opposite of branding. So I have quite a diverse background in experience, is where I gained my wisdom. And I've written for Dan's No BS marketing letter for 3 years. So I've reached thousands of owners in that column. And of course, I'm an author of these two. These are my two signature books on my methodologies. I host radio here in Chicagoland, and I also get to speak on stages and share my message across the country at a number of great events. And throughout my journey, I've got to share the stage with some pretty amazing celebrities. It's kind of one of the perks of being in the business. And some random weird facts about me. If you were to look me up, you're going to find that I worked for the late, great Walter Payton here in Chicago. I ran his nightclubs as the head of DJ entertainment in a number of his clubs. I'm also famous for house music. So I had a house music label in the 80s. So I'm already dating myself there. That's House Nation Records. I coach fighters at the UFC gym here locally in Naperville. And my favorite TV show is Infomercial. So who else has the veggie bullet besides me? When I ask audiences across the country, it's usually only like 1 or 2 people. And I'm the only weirdo there with the veggie bullet. But I'm telling you, this thing is just priceless for so many reasons. So my company, Books Grow Business, has published over 800 authors since 2008. So let's get started. Part one, your book is the one thing you can do that makes everything else better, easier, or unnecessary. I want to start off by having you imagine something. Imagine holding your brand new book in your hands. The title of your book tells the world exactly who you are and what you're about and who you help with your services and your transformations. Now, your phone is now ringing off the hook with opportunities. Your email is filled with people that want to meet with you and work with you because they've gotten their hands on your book. There's even folks asking you to come speak on their podcasts or even speak on their stage at their event or share with their groups. In other words, you're getting unlimited opportunities that you can unlock just by virtue of having a book. It's really career defining. And if you can get it done in less than 90 days, can you see how that's clearly the greatest use of your time to make an investment in an asset that's going to feed you for your entire career? That's what this is about. Now, imagine for one moment just procrastinating it, not even realizing it should be a priority in your business and never getting that done. What would you be missing out on? I always think that the most expensive thing in the world is another year that goes by without that extra business that you would have developed from having that asset in your business. So let's jump right in, because in this short time together, I'm going to show you with proof how a book is the number one thing you should prioritize right now and how it knocks down all the other dominoes in your business to make everything grow easier, faster, better. And it makes a lot of other marketing activities optional, quite frankly. So let's just jump right in. So first and foremost, you guys know that books change lives. How many times have you heard, oh, I read this book, I read Think and Grow Rich, and it just absolutely changed my life? You don't often hear that about, oh, I went attended this webinar and it changed my life. Unless it's this webinar that's going to teach you about the virtue of books. It's kind of a little meta. But I'm telling you, books absolutely change lives. And if you want a mic drop moment, books change the world. I don't think there's anybody that can question that. It's not going to go away. No matter how digital the world's gotten, it all goes around. And digital is just another form of media. It's still a book. The book changes lives and it changes the world. So let's take a look at the problem that we're trying to solve to begin with. Most of us have gone to school or gotten certified or started a business where we really wanted to get into our work and serve our clients, make a great living, and provide for our families and for a great life and a great future. However, a lot of times, how to get a client becomes an afterthought. There's not a lot of schools that actually teach that because they're typically preparing you for employment to go to work for someone else. So here's what happens. Here's the big problem. Nobody sees you when you get started and you're off on your own and you're not working for another company that has all this in place anymore. What's the problem? It's the noise. Everybody out there is screaming on a megaphone, hire me, hire me, hire me, choose us, choose us, choose us. And how do you get seen? What is the solution? Well, there's no shortage of people trying to pitch you different solutions out there, whether it's social media, whether it's YouTube channel, do a podcast, run ads, whatever it might be. There's more than one way to be right. But I'm here to show you one thing that rules them all. And we'll go into that and we'll describe it. First of all, with this solution, I need to give you a solution that's going to work for the two types of professionals out there. There's the first type of professional that really does not want the spotlight. They don't necessarily want to be famous. They just want to be recognized for what it is that they do, and they do great work, and they want the clients to come in the good old-fashioned way, build their business with word of mouth or referrals, but actually have a system in which that occurs, not just a hope and pray sort of situation. That's type of number one. Most professionals, let's face it, they don't want to do podcasts, TV, radio, that sort of thing. You need a solution that's going to work for them. Now, the second type of professional, you also need a solution that's going to work if you want to take it to the next level. There are folks that enjoy the spotlight, that enjoy sharing their message everywhere they possibly can. And that's great too, because of course it's just magnifying your message and getting out there. So you need a solution that helps them too. And you're going to find that a book serves both types of professionals, whether you just want to build your business in a strong, powerful, systematic way, or if you really want to magnify that message, the book becomes that door opener for you. So let's first start with why a book is the one thing that you can do that makes everything else easier, better, or even unnecessary. First and foremost, about this book, this was Gary Keller's book a number of years back. The theme of the book is this: what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Well, that one thing is identifying really and acting on the most impactful task. When you find that one thing that you could work on and act on it, what happens is this: the domino effect. It'll knock down the dominoes. And consider this. If you're already doing, like you have your website, you're already doing SEO to get on the front page of Google, maybe you're running ads, maybe you're doing social posts. Can you see how if you had an offer like, hey, download my book or get a copy of my book for free or just pay the shipping and I'll send you a copy of my book? Can you see how just simply adding that offer to everything that you're doing, again, it's the one thing you could do that makes everything else better. Now your ads work better because you have a solid offer, not just call me where everybody says that. You actually can build a list because people could be downloading your book for the people that are too shy to call you yet, but they're happy to get more free information from you. It makes everything else better. That's the domino effect. So becoming a published author attracts clients and sets you apart from your competition. It's the number one, because let's face it, look at your field. Almost everybody out there is running around with the business card, but what is going to separate you the most from that entire pack? That's having that book. Let's begin now with how your book works for you if you don't need the spotlight. If you really just want to build your business the old-fashioned way through good old hard work, serving your clients and doing terrific work, and hopefully that word of mouth, and how you amplify that word of mouth to get you as many clients as you possibly want. So if you don't need the spotlight, your book makes referrals, lead generation, and sales much easier. Let's take a look at how. With referrals, it used to be the old-fashioned way. You just make an assumption. Hey, if I do good work, people are going to talk about me. They're going to tell their friends and colleagues to come and hire me or come to see me. However, can you see how a stack of books given to the right referral partners, and let's suppose you even mention those referrals and partners in the book and honor them in there, would they be more likely to hand your book out to their clients introducing you? That makes referrals more intentional. And when you arm your referral partners, even your past clients, that's another great way to do it. You give a stack of books to your old clients and you say, hey, I've reached a huge milestone. Everybody's been telling me to write a book. I finally did it. And the cover letter says, I'm giving you some extra copies. I signed a copy for you, but I've also included 2, 3 more copies for your friends and colleagues or anyone you feel could use our help. Do you see what I did there? It makes referrals more deliberate and systematic. The nice part about it is when they're handing that book to their colleague, it's not like they handed you a business card or just told them your phone number where you're not positioned whatsoever. You are positioned as a subject matter expert and an author of the book on solving the problem that their friends and colleagues have. How great is that? That's the type of positioning you get when people are referring you through a book. Next, getting the cooperation from referral partners, as I mentioned, sneaky ethical trick, mentioning them in the book is gets it more likely they're going to be excited to be part of the book. You might even find certain situations where your book, and if you're non-competitive, maybe it helps them attract clients too. Think about that. Is there a version of that in your field where your book can help other professionals get clients for themselves? You're non-competitive, and they'll also feed you the referrals in return. That's one great way to boost your referrals using a book. Now, arming your clients and partners. Again, give your clients and partners plenty of books to give away. Next, lead generation. How about putting on your website instead of just a business card on the internet, you actually have an offer on there. Download my free book here. Just enter your email. So now you see people visiting your page. They don't just go away and stay invisible to you. They enter their emails. They're raising their hands. They're letting you know, I was just at your website and I downloaded your book. So who could I be? I'm an interested party. So lead generation is boosted. How about this? Next, including the book, the link to your book on Amazon in all of the signature lines of all of your emails. So every time your emails go out or get shared, they're seeing that you're an author without you telling them you're an author by just saying, hey, get Mark's book here or get John's book here. Link, it sends them to your Amazon author page. It's another great trick. You can do that on LinkedIn and everywhere that you have a signature line. Now, adding a lead magnet on your own website. As I mentioned earlier, this is how you do it. A capture page right there, the headline, offering a copy of your book for free or just for them covering the shipping. Or perhaps you start with just a digital version, so it's totally free. That's a great way to do it. As I also mention a lot, is I talk about writing a book that sells you and your services, not writing a book that you have to sell. So I hope I explained that well. So next, offer your book in any ad or promo. So like I said, it makes everything else work better because now you have a purpose for the ad, not just here's my phone number for people that aren't ready to call you yet. There's a lot of information gatherers. So this is what you want to go for there. Now let's talk about sales. How do you boost your actual sales using a book? Well, here's why. Recent studies show that today everything shifted. It used to be back in the old days, people actually called companies to get more information, and you would immediately be talking to a salesperson almost as the first touch. Today, that's all shifted. It's now become a very self-serve world, and now 70 to 80% of the buying decisions are made before they even contact the company at all. How crazy is that? So nowadays, by the time they're reaching you, oftentimes they already looked you up. They've already looked at their options. So that's something to really consider. And what it is having a book becomes your ultimate shortcut for that research that they're doing. You're now giving them something to research. They can spend hours studying, and the beauty is you're the one giving them the information. So if you're familiar or may not be familiar with Google's 7-11-4 rule, they did a study that shows what's the average path of a buyer for a buying decision. And they said 7-11-4. People spend at least 7 hours on average researching their purchase, whatever they're going to look at, over 11 different touch points, meaning it could be a series of 3 emails, 4 blog articles. You see 11 different touch points, and it could all be from you. It could be 11 emails. It could be a mix of things in 4 different places or platforms. So maybe that you saw me speak in Vegas. Maybe you watch my YouTube videos, or maybe you're watching this presentation here. That's another touch. Perhaps you got my email. That's a third modality that you reached me. And then maybe you heard me talk on a podcast or something. You see 4 different places. That's what it typically takes before somebody's actually ready to book an appointment with you or get closer with you. So here's an example I want to show you of a client that did not want the spotlight. This is what we're talking about here. How is she using her book? When her book launched, she was so proud to announce this to her community and to all her referral partners. She sent stacks of books with that exact letter I described to you. And guess what the result is? She has a lot of other referral partners that are non-competitive to her service. She's a CPA and an exit planning advisor. So she has other professionals like attorneys and other people in the transaction that say, wow, Jane, can I use your book to help attract clients for my business? Why, of course, because now they're happily handing out her book. It helps them attract clients. And guess what else is happening? It's positioning Jane as the number one person for the CPA business and for the exit planning services that she has. So that's an example of how to do this right. Now, let's take it a step further because there's that other type of professional that really wants the spotlight, enjoys the spotlight, and wants to take it to the next level. Well, guess what? Your book is your golden ticket to getting anything you want and getting anywhere you want. So I'm really asking you, like, where do you want to go today? So let's go. If you want the spotlight, your book's going to get you on TV, on radio, podcasts, and event stages. Because literally, if you want to do speaking and get on stages, today, a lot of the event promoters, it's almost a minimum bar to entry that you are an author of a book because it makes them look better that they're bringing an author to their conference to speak on that topic. It also makes a great take with or an item they can all get signed copies of your book after your talk. It's also, by the way, another way. If you don't give away your book, it's also another way to get compensated. There's a lot of speakers that say, "Hey, I won't charge you a speaking fee, but I require you to at least purchase a copy of my book for each attendee that's going to be coming to see my talk." There's so many ways to do it, but that's speaking on stages. Now, podcast guesting. This is the number two of the top two. Speaking is like number one to promoting a book. Number two is guesting on podcasts. Most people get to hear somebody know, like, and trust them on a podcast. Then they automatically want to go get their book. That's happened for me many, many times. Again, just like for a podcast host, it makes them look good to bring on authors to their show. So again, can you see how your book becomes the golden ticket for you to guest on other podcasts? And perhaps even in the future, creating a podcast of your own around the topic of your book. Now, getting on TV and radio, this is one of my favorite strategies or tactics is the service that you provide. Like, for example, when I was in the wedding DJ business, what I did, I wrote my first book many moons ago on the ultimate wedding reception, and I sent my book with a cover letter to all my local media in the Chicagoland area. And I sent this around January because you had a lot of the holiday engagements. People got engaged over the holidays and New Year's with the ring, right? So I sent the book in January. And I said, hey, listen, spring, a lot of people got engaged over the holidays. I know that the spring wedding season is right around the corner. And if you're going to be doing any stories about wedding receptions or the fun or creating the ultimate dream wedding, I wrote the book on the subject. You see what I did there? I've included a copy for you and my number. I'm available as a subject matter expert. Just get a hold of me. So you see what I did there? You can do this in your business around a seasonality or a calendar, if you will. So that's a great way to get into the media. Book tours. There's nothing more exciting and fun and easy than creating your own pop-up events because guess what? These businesses out there, like independent bookstores, the ones that are left, they're starving for traffic. And if you can help them create a fun event around your book and about your signing, they're all ears. They are happy to help, especially they like to help local authors. Now, you're not limited just to bookstores. That's what I love about it. I've created book tours around chambers of commerce. Think about it, through colleges, universities, the SBDC, so many organizations. Depending on your topic, you probably can make a list of who could have me at their event because these folks, they have members. They need to serve their members. They need to entertain their members. So they're always looking for something unique, fresh, and new that they can give to their audience. So why wouldn't it be you with an exciting topic with your book? So that's creating your own book tours. Here's a client success story. Adrienne Hines is a bankruptcy attorney. She's known as the ladylike lawyer. So when she came to me, her original idea was doing a book titled Debt Relief with Dignity. Well, I gave her the title Bankruptcy Magic. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. But this exploded her name on the scene, and now she's grown one of the fastest growing TikTok channels around the subject of bankruptcy. So that's Adrienne Hines. So can you see now how a book is the one thing that you can do to knock down all the other dominoes, get you anywhere that you want, and make everything else in your business easier, better, or even unnecessary? You don't have to go on stages if you don't want to. You could ship out your book. So it could make that unnecessary if you want. It's really your golden ticket. If you're in business without a book today, I jokingly say it's like going to war without a weapon, kind of like going to a gunfight with your bare hands, or it's like going through the jungle without a machete, or it's like leaving the house without pants. So that's fun there. Okay, part two. Let's talk about the 7 critical keys to your perfect book in 90 days or less and how to keep AI from hurting you doing this. Here we go. So first, what's the best reason to write a book? The best number one reason to write a book is personal brand, not just to share your story or your journey. Because if you're not yet famous, think about this. Why would people care? How can you get them to care? People, your audiences, they want to know what's in it for them. So when your book serves their purpose and solves their problem, now you can get attention. But while you've got attention, you have to build a personal brand. And in this section, I'm going to share with you all the elements necessary, the critical elements to help you build that personal brand. I mentioned this expression earlier. Write a book that sells you, not a book that you have to sell. That's why you don't worry about the $7, $8 royalties on a book sale when you can get a client that's worth thousands of dollars for you. So write a book that sells you. But Mark, I want to share my stories because that is the number one thing people say to me when they say that they've always wanted to write a book. But you have to have the right reason. I always ask, well, what for? Why do you want to share your story? What's in it for you? And a lot of times they say, well, I navigated this problem and I think I can save a lot of people from making the same mistakes that I've made or whatever it might be. And I say, well, what's in it for you? And if you tell me, well, this can attract me clients to grow my business, that's a good answer. But oftentimes people say, I really don't know. I never really thought about that. What's in it for me? Because people mistakenly think that writing a book is about selling books. We're not here to put you in a different business. We're here to drive more business to what it is that you're already doing. So I hope I explained that well. Today's day and age, a nonfiction book is not about making money. It's not even that easy to make money selling books just for physical selling of books. That's not what this is for. This is about positioning your authority, establishing yourself as the leader of your field, and attracting clients and raising your prices and getting premium fees and all of the above by being a published author. So, what do you do with your stories, though? I will tell you, there is a use for them. You do want to have them because your personal journey is the icing on the cake. It's not the cake, but it's the icing on the cake. And here's what I mean by that. You're going to use your personal stories to illustrate the points of each chapter of the book. So when you do this right, people are not only learning the lessons that you have to share, but you're also planting the seed that you've been where they want to be and you can take them where they want to go and you have your own story to share. But guess what happens? That story gets people to know, like, and trust you. And hopefully that all works and they know your story, they resonate with you. People learn through stories. So that's why your personal story is important. And by the way, that is exactly why I don't recommend using AI to write your book. People make this huge mistake. They think AI is here to save you. And I can't wait till this is over with because people are making the mistake. They're literally typing in there, write me a book about first-time home buyers for real estate agents. And they expect that, that AI is going to write a book for you. It would probably be the crappiest book you've ever seen, just telling the mechanicals of purchasing or buying a home or selling a home or whatever. That has absolutely zero interest in it. It has no personal stories. It doesn't share your journey from failure to success. There's all kinds of stuff missing in that book. And AI will absolutely, can you see how it will ruin your personal brand? So don't use AI. So now I'm going to teach you my author's framework. And this is going to illustrate the 7 key elements that you must have in your book in order to make it magnetic and build your personal brand and attract you as many clients and as big of an audience as you want. So here's the author's framework. Let's start with the letter A. The letter A stands for audience. We have to define. And by the way, when we're going through this list, I want you to first do the homework by just making a list of all of these filters here. The A, we have to define who the audience is and who it is that we're actually speaking to. Who's your ideal client? Who is it that you want to attract? By the way, when we create this list with these 7 filters, this is going to help you inform and drill down to what the title of this book can be. And more importantly, what do you want to be known for? It's going to help you with that. So A stands for audience. Let's drill down. Let's not get just generic, anybody that wants to buy a home. It needs to be like, what age group are they? First time home buyers? Are they mover uppers? Are they upgraders? Like, get as specific as you can, because the more specific you can be with your book, the more magnetic it becomes. And by the way, there's a lot of people that say, well, Mark, I want to make it as broad as possible to capture as many as possible. Unfortunately, that actually works against you, because the more generic the information, the more it gets ignored. So I'm going to tell you to puddle jump here. Write the book, the more specific book you can for the audience you're trying to get, and write another book. As an author, you're not supposed to be stopping at one book. In the future, follow up with other books that cover the other pieces that you want to cover. So audience is number 1. Now, the U stands for the ultimate problem. What is the ultimate problem that you solve for that niche? And is it a problem that they're already aware about, and something that they're already, what's keeping them up at night? Because you really want to know, what is the conversation that they're having at the kitchen table or at night? You want to enter that conversation in their mind with your title, with your table of contents, because when you speak to that, that's what makes your book attractive. The T. The T stands for transformation. What is the transformation that you are promising with your book? You're going to help them go from what to what? From poor to rich, from unsuccessful to successful. What is that transformation? Because as you write these items down, this also helps you inform your title. These are aspirations, and it informs what your personal brand can be. So what is the transformation that you want to be known for? And that leads us to the next one. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be known? You want to be known as, for example, Dave Ramsey, financial peace. You see that very simple title, but it's really defined his entire career. He's about financial peace. Who's the enemy? Debt. He is against debt, and we know it. See, building a personal brand. Next, the O stands for offers. You have to have an offer in your book. So when people get to read your book, where's the offer page? What are you asking them to do? No more than 2 or 3 things that you want to tell them to do. Here's a perfect example here. Book your life-changing feel-good discovery session now. This strategic one-on-one call is designed to identify exactly where and why you feel stuck or plateaued and open up access to new results. So that's one offer. The second offer here is experience it in your organization. It's a speaking offer. Ignite change within your organization and learn how to create a feel good work environment that cultivates genuine positivity and greater productivity. Inquire about Fletcher's availability for speaking engagements, workshops, or consulting. So always have an offer in your book. The R in the author's framework stands for response mechanism. Throughout the book, you can put QR codes, links, and places that people that are readers can go to get additional stuff, Easter eggs. Why do we do this? We do this because your book is not necessarily always sold on your website where you're collecting the contact information. Your book may be handed off to neighbors. It could be referred out, passed out from your referral partners, and you may not know who it is getting those books. But now, if you have response mechanisms offering checklists or cheat sheets or shortcuts by going to certain places, you can put capture devices on those web pages that at least capture that email. And you know that person came from your book, and now you have their email and contact so you can continue to follow up with them. That's how you build a list with response mechanisms. Now, finally, the letter S stands for social proof. This is more than just testimonials. Of course, if you can do it, you could put some testimonials, just 3 to 5, no more than that. Otherwise, it looks way too salesy. Just 3 to 5 great client testimonials at the end of your book. But other social proof, whenever you have a chance to illustrate points, like in my book, I talk about doing experiential marketing events and what those look like and how we help the brands build their audiences. I show photographs, live photos from those particular events, shows me with celebrities. So you're planting the seed that you do work with these type of clients, that high caliber, you have that experience. You're showing yourself working with celebrities. There's so many ways to include social proof throughout your book, and it all helps, again, build that personal brand. And again, can you see how AI has nothing to do with this? These are your personal stories, your proof. That's what the S is for. At the end of the day, your book is what you're going to be known for. Take a look at these examples that you likely already know. Susie Orman, The 9 Steps of Financial Freedom. Brene Brown, Daring Greatly. Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. And again, Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace. So your book title should be magnetic to your audience. So this is what you're doing when you're making that list and doing, going through some filters and workshopping for a title in your personal brand. There are 2 title camps out there. One camp says that you should label your business after the vehicle. Another camp says, no, you should title your book after the destination. Meaning, if you name it after the vehicle, you're talking about your product or the thing. And the other one is the destination or the aspiration. What does somebody want in their business? I want endless customers. So can you see how some people will say that's the better title, endless customers? I don't necessarily agree with that because I believe such a platitudinal name like Endless Customers could have been written by anybody. Oh, who wrote that? Was it this guy? Was it that guy? Was it this guy? I don't know. Anybody could have written it. Such a generic term, Endless Customers. I prefer your first book to be a signature book. Name your own process. And could you brand that process with the book? So when people look up the name of your process, you're branded by your book. Like on the left, the example of Ask by Ryan Levesque. Ryan Levesque was known for the Ask method. That's actually his personal brand, Ask. And he's built a ginormous business and exited very healthy with the Ask method. So that's 2 ways. Now, the Will It intro title test, the way I look at it is try this filter. Next up is the best-selling author of, and then insert the name of the book. Please welcome and your name. If it sounds good, if it has a real ring to it, and it kind of tells the world what this section is going to be about, this interview is going to be about, then you've got a winning title. That's one way to really test the title. Let me give you an example, client success story from Trina Julian. In her business, she coaches women home service business owners to how to scale up their businesses by stepping back and having more freedom in their lives. Her story, she started a landscaping company with just $100 and a beat up pickup truck. And she built it into $1 million, 7-figure business and sold it in less than 3 years. So now she knows the formula. She has her ways, and that's what she's coaching other women to do. So the book appeal is teaching business owners how to step back to scale up. And these are home service business owners like landscape and services like that. So what's her book title that I helped her with? Dirty Work Wealth. She didn't have a title. She was really saying, hey, I want to teach smart home business owners how to step back to scale up. What should we call this? Dirty Work Wealth. You see how that works in the filter? It telegraphs what this is going to be about. Dirty work, hands, cleaning, mud, dirt, landscaping, wealth, building wealth. So dirty work wealth. So you see how that is going to pass that intro test. Please welcome the best-selling author of Dirty Work Wealth. Welcome, Trina Julian. You see that? And guess what? Another little test. Can your title of your book work as a podcast title? Hey, welcome to Dirty Work Wealth. I'm your host, Trina Julian. You see how that works there? That's why I believe in that camp. Now here's Adrienne Hines again. Bankruptcy attorney, bankruptcy influencer on TikTok, also known as the Ladylike Lawyer. When she didn't have a title for her book, her appeal was, we're going to explain debt relief with dignity. So what did I do? After we worked through it, I said, hey, you know what? We're going to create bankruptcy magic. I researched it for her, made sure nobody else had that title. She owns it. And it is crushing for her because the word magic takes the sting and the stigma away from the word bankruptcy, and it creates a fascination. Hey, what's that about? What's so magical about bankruptcy? And when you get people curious about something, you got them. That's the winner because you want people asking, how do you do that? Or what's that about? How does that work? You see, when you create a fascination, it's the door opener for you. And that's why this title is such a winner for her. And guess what? How does that podcast test? Hey, welcome to Bankruptcy Magic. I'm your host, Adrienne Hines. Boom, another winner. Here's another one. I love this one. Nick Fairs is a business broker, and he specializes in selling only manufacturing businesses here in the U.S. So he really wanted to use the title of maximizing the value of manufacturing businesses so they could sell at top dollar. It's an aspiration. But I said, how can we make this fascinating and create a title and a brand for you to own so you're the only guy? American Made Millions is what I gave him. How does that have a ring to it? It's now the name of his forthcoming podcast. Welcome to American Made Millions. I'm your host, Nick Fairs. So I hope this is helpful for you so far. Here's another client success story, Linda Kane. Her business is she's a consultant to dentists, and her brand is called Zeroed In Dental. So as we were talking through this book and doing it, we're like, okay, she always uses the term zeroed in. That's her personal brand. She's been using it for years. The book appeal is she's optimizing dental office profits. Now, here's the thing. We're going to go with Zeroed In Dental as the title throughout the entire project. We were trying to beat it, and couldn't beat it. The day before we went to press, she had a conversation with a client, and just on a whim, that client told her, you know what, Linda, do you like that TV show Bar Rescue with John Taffer? If you had a TV show, it would be called Dental Office Rescue, and you would be the host. So Linda called me right away and said, this is interesting that she said that. So I said, stop the presses. There's your brand. If you want it, you can own it. We researched it. Nobody had it. Kaboom, kabap. We had a new cover designed, and it's absolutely perfect. Now we shifted her original title from Zeroed In Dental down to the subhead, Zeroed In Solutions for Winning Patients Who Stay, Pay, and Refer. See how that works? Passes every test. The intro test passes the podcast test. One more, client success, Eric Ebron, retired military, Marine, also retired from the aerospace industry. He was in leadership for many years in aerospace. He started his own consulting firm where he's teaching leadership and consulting leadership in aerospace companies and automotive companies. Those are the two fields that he was heavily involved in. So he wanted to teach leadership lessons for aerospace and automotive. That was the book appeal. So guess what? Here comes the title, Highway to Skyway Leadership. These titles just don't pop up overnight. They take some work. They take some workshopping and some brainstorming. But can you see how that passes all the tests, the intro test and the podcast test? Eric Ebron. So now to wrap up, as I promised you, that case study, part 3, how a multi-million-dollar business was built around a book. So I'll show you how that works. And it is my own mentor's company, Dan Kennedy. I had the great fortune of working closely with Dan for 8 years, helping him build his boots on the ground here in the Chicagoland area, running his mastermind groups and working with his members here. He sold his company for 8 figures, and I'm going to show you a little bit behind closed doors on that business. He started it with the book, The Ultimate Sales Letter. Then he kept creating books, The Ultimate Marketing Plan, then a whole series. This is when he really started to develop into a brand, when he started calling every book the No BS. No BS direct marketing, no BS succeeding in business, no BS ruthless management. Everything was no BS, and that became Dan's personal brand. He grew his membership, which was called GKIC, Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, because his partner's name was Bill Glazer. They grew it to 11,000 paying subscribers. So how did they do that? Here's how they did it. They put offers within all those books for the most incredible free gift offer. They did a free plus shipping deal where they just paid for the shipping and they shipped them a big box of stuff. And it was attached to a monthly recurring subscription. And they grew that membership up to 11,000 paying members. They paid anywhere from $60 a month to around $260 per month for their highest level memberships. He made offers from the stage. He sold products. He sold his books. He sold the free, the free offer, most incredible free gift offer from the stage. That's another way to do it. And he built that. So his books reached millions of people. His mailing list became hundreds of thousands, and his paid membership grew to over 11,000 subscribers. Each year, he had two annual conferences, the Super Conference and the Info Summit, and an average of 1,500 people attended each of those. So, pillar number one, what is it that you're already selling? I'm going to show you 6 pillars of his business. He was selling consulting, coaching, and products. In his case, he was selling information products. So you want to use your books to drive business to what it is you're already doing, to your services. Use a book to drive consultations, if that's how you sell, through a consultation, driving more sales to what it is that you're already doing, products or services. So think about it. What's your average customer or client value? Here's an example from $2,000 to $20,000. As you can see there, you need very small numbers of sales to hit some significant numbers. So that's what is it that pillar number one? What is your core offer? What is it that you're already selling that you could sell more of using your book? Next pillar, courses or training programs. This is always great for businesses that kind of are stuck and they need to scale up, but maybe they're limited by geographic or whatever. You can go beyond your borders by selling a course online. So courses or courses in a box. Your average online course, as you might see, is about $29.97 to $49.97. So again, with this example, small numbers lead to significant revenues in that channel. Pillar number 3, the membership community. As I mentioned with Dan's community, 11,000 members, significant numbers just there, writing one newsletter issue per month and sending it out in scale. So that's pillar number 3. Average sales prices for these, $40 to $97 for a newsletter, either physical or just online. Again, small numbers of sales lead to significant revenue in that channel. Pillar number 4, group coaching. Can you do this in your business? In a lot of businesses, you can. Group coaching is a great way to scale up because you're now just delivering content. It's leveraging your time, delivering the content once and reaching your whole membership here. It's a mid-level access. So you price it accordingly. You make it affordable so more people could get in on it, and you're making the money without having to do so much repetitive work that one-on-one would require. So with group coaching, a lot of times your average prices or for offer is $5,000 to $15,000. So again, small numbers of sales needed to hit some significant numbers there for you. Pillar number 5, doing a high level mastermind. This is really where you find the cream of the crop of your members, and it's the highest fees because they have the highest access to you. Maybe there's only 12 to 15 members in this high level, and they just meet with you in a round table once or twice a year. Think about that. So $25,000 to $100,000 a year is a very common ask for a high level mastermind in different fields. So pillar number 6, this is totally optional because annual conferences, they're great, but they're not the easiest thing to do. They're also going to be the most costly thing to do, but there's reasons to do it when it makes sense. There's good revenues in them. There's good upsell opportunities within them, but mostly people like annual conferences because it allows members to come together once a year and to bond. And if you can get members to bond and to stick, you can get members to stay much longer. So a lot of times it's just for the nurturing of the communities. But as you can see, ticket costs for annual events are $400 to $1,500. The revenues are decent, but remember, there's costs involved too there. So that's where you need to add sponsorships and other things like that. That's a whole different, another story and another lesson, but just to show you that's an option. And basically, when Dan put all of these together and he built a multi-million-dollar annual business, it became very attractive to private equity, and he was able to sell at a nice exit of 8 figures. So everything starts with your signature book. Can you see how your book is your audience builder? It's your connection builder. It really is the one thing that you can do that makes everything else easier, better, or even unnecessary. So you've got 2 options. You can either crank out your book or you can stay silent and stay invisible. That's one thing you can do. Or you can stand out by getting your book finally done. And when I tell you that if I only need 30 minutes per chapter with you and you'll be published in less than 90 days, how does that sound to you? A lot of our clients say that's the absolute best use of their time and the best marketing investment that they've ever made. Your book makes you the leader that other people follow. As you saw with examples from Jane McQuillan, she has other advisors using her book to attract clients for themselves, but at the same time, positioning Jane as that thought leader for her services as well. So are you ready to claim your personal brand and finally get your book done? Well, here's my offer to you, and it's a no obligation complimentary offer. So it's also free. 90 days, no writing needed. You give me 30 minutes per chapter. You're going to be on Amazon worldwide in 90 days or less. And we've created over 800 joyful authors since 2008. And it begins with one strategy session. I call it a book storming session. And what I offer here is at no charge. It's normally $297, but because you met me at a conference or you're here on my private list, you're going to get a complimentary gift of a session. And here's what happens. We're going to hop on Zoom for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it takes. I'm going to learn a little bit more about your work and your goals and dreams. You're going to tell me who that ideal customer or client is that you want to attract. And we'll see if and how the perfect book plan is the right thing for you to do. And if it is, I'm going to give you the appeal, the hook, what the book should be about. And I'm going to show you the roadmap of how we get it done in less than 90 days using only 30 minutes of your time per chapter with me on a weekly basis for the first few weeks. And then we take the rest to really brand it, put it out, distribute it on Amazon, and get it on the platform in every country. And we do it all for you. So go to this QR code, go to this link. It's going to send you to, on this particular one, it's Get Mark's Books. Let's start there. Grab a copy of my book, Books Grow Business, and you're also going to get an invitation for that complimentary book storming session for you. So that is my time. Let me know if I explain this well, or if you have any questions whatsoever, just shoot me a note. Go to booksgrowbusiness.com, pick a time if you want to go ahead and grab a bookstorming session with me. And I look forward to helping you crush it and build your personal brand. It's Mark Imperial, author of Books Grow Business. Go forth and book that appointment now. Do it right now, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care.